good morning, dear students. Dear students, we are going to start the next topic, that is the People's Mahatma. Children, we can see from the above that sometimes people thought of Gandhiji as a kind messiah, as someone who could help them in overcome their misery and poverty. They were just looking at Gandhiji as someone who has sent by the God in order to overcome their problems. Fine. Now Gandhiji also wished to build class unity. He wanted unity among the people, not class conflict. He does not want the conflict among the people, rather he wanted unity. Yet peasants could imagine that he would help them in their fight against zamindars. But the peasants were thinking that he is going to fight against the zamindars and agricultural laborers. They believed that he would provide them land. Now, children, at times, ordinary people, they credited Gandhiji with their own achievements. Fine. For instance, at the end of a powerful movement, peasants of Pratapgarh in the United Province, now in Uttar Pradesh, managed to stop illegal eviction. Now, what is illegal eviction? That is the forceful and unlawful throwing out of tenants from the land they rent. So they were illegally throwing out the people, those whom gave the land on rent. But they felt that it was Gandhiji who had won this demand for them. So they were thinking that Gandhiji has helped them in doing this. At other times, using Gandhiji's name, tribals and peasants, they undertook actions that did not conform to Gandhian ideals. And on the other hand, even the tribal people and the peasants, they were doing some actions which were not with accordance to Gandhiji's ideals. Now, children, the happenings in 1922 to 29. See, Mahatma Gandhi, as we all know, he was against violent movements, and he called off the non cooperation movement when in February 1922 a crowd of peasants they set fire to a police station in Chauri Chaura. So he took back his non cooperation movement just because of this incident. 22 policemen were killed on that day. The peasants were provoked because the police had fired on their peaceful demonstration. They were demonstrating peacefully, but the police set out fire on them. And answer to that, these people they put that police station to fire at Chauri Chaura. Fine. So, once the non cooperation movement was over, Gandhiji's followers stressed that the Congress must undertake constructive work in the rural areas. The moment the non cooperation movement was taken back, now Gandhiji's followers they were, stressing on the Congress to do some constructive work in the villages. Fine. Other leaders such as Chittaranjan Das and Motilal Nehru, they argued that the party should fight elections to the councils and enter them in order to influence government policies. And some of them they just wanted that the policy should fight elections. Fine. Uh, Through sincere social work in villages in mid 1920s, the Gandhians were able to extend their support base. Now they had a lot of support from people. Fine. This proved to be very useful in launching the civil disobedience movement in 1930. So in 1930, civil disobedience movement was launched. Two important developments of the mid 20s 1920s were, what were the two developments? Formation of Rashtriya Swayam Seva Sangh, RSS, a Hindu organization, and the Communist Party of India. These parties were held very different ideas about the kind of country India should be. So they had the ideas which people wanted India should have, how India should be like. Now, see, You had to just find out who these parties are. Fine. The revolutionary nationalist Bhagat Singh, he was very active in this period. Fine. The decade closed with the Congress resolving to fight the Purna Swaraj complete independence in 1929 under the presidency of Jawaharlal Nehru. Consequently, Independence Day was observed on 26 January 1930 all over the country. Fine. So just read about Bhagat Singh, children. Now the march to Dandi. Now you might have heard about Dandi March. So what was it? Let's see. See, Swaraj would never come its own. That's what they were saying, that you had to work on it. So it had to be fought for. In 1930, Gandhiji declared that he would lead a march to break the salt law. So they had a march to break the salt law. According to this law, the state had the monopoly on the manufacture and sale of salt. Fine. Mahatma Gandhi, along with his other nationalists, reasoned that it was sinful to tax salt since it is an essential item of our food. So he said that you can't put a tax on such an essential commodity of the kitchen food. Fine. So the salt related the general desire of freedom to a specific grievance shared by everybody. Fine, children. Then and thus did not divide the rich and the poor, and this was not, the rich and the poor were not divided. Gandhiji and his followers, they marched over 240 miles from Sabarmati to the coastal town of Dandi, where they broke the government law by gathering natural salt found on the seashore and the boiling seawater to produce salt. So they had this Dandi March. So peasants, tribals, women, they all participated in large number in this Dandi March. A business federation published a pamphlet on the salt issue. The government tried to crush the movement through brutal action against peaceful satyagrah. Thousands were sent to jail in this law. Fine. The combined struggle of the Indian people, they bore fruit when the Government of India Act of 1935 prescribed provincial autonomy, means the capacity of the provinces to make relatively independent decision while remaining within the federation, means they can take decision but they will be under the federation. Fine. So and the government announced elections to the provincial legislature in 1937. The Congress formed governments in 7 out of 11 provinces. Fine. In September 1939, after 2 years of Congress rule in the province, the Second World War broke out, children. Critical of Hitler, Congress leaders were ready to support the British war effort, but in return they wanted India to be granted independence after the war. The British refused to concede the demand. The Congress ministries resigned in protest. So they wanted that we are going to fight for you, but in reward you have to give us freedom. But that was not granted. Quit India and later. Now what happened? See, Mahatma Gandhi decided to initiate a new phase of movement against the British in the middle of the Second World War. The British must quit India immediately. He told them, to the people, he said, do or die in your effort to fight the British. But you must fight non-violently. They said, now you have to either do or die. If you want freedom, you had to keep this feeling in your heart and you should fight non-violently. Find Gandhiji and other leaders, they were jailed, and but the movement spread a lot. It specially attracted the peasants and the youth who gave up their studies to join it. Communications and symbols of state authority were attacked all over the country. In many areas, the people set up their own governments. The first response to the British were severe repressions. By the end of 1943, 90,000 people, children, they were arrested and around 1,000 killed in the police firing. In many areas, orders were given to machine gun crowds from airplanes. Just see. The rebellion, however, ultimately brought the Raj to its knees. Fine. Now, see, towards independence and partition. Meanwhile, in 1940, the Muslim League had moved a resolution demanding independent states. They were working on it for Muslims in the northwestern and the eastern parts of the country. So the resolution did not mention partition of Pakistan. They did not say that they want Pakistan. They just asked for, independent states. Why did the League ask for autonomous arrangement of the Muslims for the subcontinent? See, from the late 1930s, the League began viewing that the Muslims as a separate nation from Hindus. In developing this notion, it may have been influenced by the history of tension between Hindus and Muslim groups in 1920s and 30s. More, see, more importantly, the provincial elections in 1937 seem to have convinced the League of Muslims were minority. Muslims were in minority, and they would always have to play second fiddle in any democratic structure. They were treated as secondary. So it feared that Muslims may even go unrepresented. So the Congress's rejection of the League's desire to form a joint Congress League government in the United Province in 97, they also annoyed the League because Congress said no to them. So Congress failures to mobilize the Muslim masses into 1930s allowed the League to widen its social support. It sought to enlarge its supports in the early 1940s, and most Congress leaders were in jail at that time. At the end of war in 1945, the British they opened negotiations, between the Congress, the League, and themselves for the independent India. The talks failed because the League saw itself as the sole spokesperson of India's Muslim. So the Congress could not accept this claim since a large number of Muslims still supporting it. Elections to the provinces they were again held in 1946. The Congress did well in the general constituencies, but the League's success in the seats reserved for Muslim was spectacular. It persisted with its demands for Pakistan in 1946. The British cabinet sent three-member commission to Delhi to just examine the demand and to suggest a suitable political framework for a free India. This mission suggested that India should remain united and constitute itself as a loose confederation with some autonomy for Muslim majority areas. But children, it could not get the Congress and the Muslim League to agree to the specific details of the proposal. So partition now became more or less inevitable. Fine. So after the failure of this cabinet mission, the Muslim League they decided on mass agitation for winning its Pakistan demand. It announced 16 August 1946 as Direct Action Day. On this day, riots broke out in Calcutta, lasting several days and resulting in the death of thousands of people. By March 1947, violence spread in different parts of the northern India. Many hundred thousands people were killed, and numerous women had to face untold brutalities during the partition. Millions of people were forced to flee their homes, torn asunder, and from their homelands. They were reduced to being refugees in alien lands. Partition also meant that India changed, many of its cities changed, and a new country, Pakistan, was born. So the joy of our country's independence from British rule came mixed with the pain of violence and partition, children see. So this was the end of today's topic. Thank you and have a nice day.